All right, Lee, do you want to get us started?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I don't have much to, well, a couple of things stick out for me, but other than that, it's not that much that is grabbing my attention. We've been creeping down past 4 or 5 days very consistently. We've had a few interesting days in the past week, though, where like during the day, we keep seeing these really big reversals. We'll go all the way down, then we creep back to the open, then it's not sure what to do. So the market's a bit uncertain. It's end of the month. The heavy data is on Thursday and Friday pre-market. There's a couple of figures coming out. I forget which. I'm going to get my
I'm looking
abbreviation
at right
from.
here. I'll do it for you real quick. I'm looking at them. Consumer confidence is Tuesday. Wednesday, we have nothing really significant in the US. On Thursday's GDP, and that's a biggie,
Hmm.
and the weekly jobs. And then I don't think there's anything big on Friday. Friday is not NFP. There's PMI. No, nothing huge.
Yeah,
So,
so we're going to get normal month-end rubbish. The one thing that jumps out for me is overnight tonight. You where we are now, what has happened since Sunday, we traded down to within one tick of a single print that's been floating around for a few days. Let's just see if I can resize that window. You'll see it. So ES single print. There we go. That's from Thursday the 13th, whenever that was, RCH. So that was news that day, I think, that
hmm,
made us shoot up. Look where we've come down to within a tick overnight. The
yeah.
timing on that was, let's see, it finally got down there 1 a.m. Central. So that would be 7 a.m. That's kind of Frankfurt Open, the futures that brought us back up. And the bottom overnight is a really nice price rejector. But that's sitting there, for everyone to see. But these levels are arbitrary. TPO doesn't work. Well, yeah, clearly no one's regarding this as important. There's no game playing, down to the tick. So that's one to be aware of. Not a price rejector up at the high. View for today, no idea. We are kind of towards the bottom of a range creeping down. People will be drawing little uptrend lines on ES. Correlation's still bad. I mean, NQ's in the middle of the range. RTY, where do you want to draw that range? I mean, RTY is in the middle of the recent area, and YM is playing similarly to ES. So I'm going to be really patient today. And the lack of correlation we've seen in the past week or two. Let's just refresh that on the MRCI. It's coming back a bit. You can see NQ past 30 days is tightening up now on correlation. But we got month end, we got some news.
We have a lot of earnings still coming in. Pete just
Yeah.
mentioned that, and he's right. That today was interesting. Coca-Cola reported this morning, and they hit it out of the park, which is interesting. But they have pricing power, in inflation
Yeah.
because they're a brand, and so there's a lot of the cross currents are coming from mixed earnings, and
Mm.
so that's something to watch, particularly as we go, into the rest of the week and some of the other big heavy hitters. Real quickly, let's see. Tomorrow, just while I'm on the topic, UPS is tomorrow. That's Verizon, General Motors, McDonald's, General
Yeah.
Electric. I mean, these are Pepsi, 3M, JetBlue. Pick an industry. There's a major player reporting, and anyway, this goes on all week. Thursday, Caterpillar, American Airlines. So basically, be very, very Exxon's on Friday, Chevron, Colgate, Palmolive. Be very careful in the pre-market to be aware when those might hit because they can cause sudden sharp moves. And the same thing right after the open. We saw Tesla last week reported like 30 seconds after the equities closed, and they just crushed the NASDAQ down because
Mm.
their report was bad. So anyway, that's important to keep in mind.
And you look at, for each of the past few days, which does relate to earnings, here's this is Thursday here. So, we opened double distribution overnight to here. RTH opened here, went back up pretty much all the way and came back down. Friday was similar in terms of, open, down, up, RTH, down, back up. we're seeing a lot of, like on the daily, these type of candles. Where it's, exploring, heading all the way down, heading back up, litigating whether it wants to be positive or negative, which is the market assimilating information. It's uncertainty. It doesn't know. We've been creeping down. What was that? Friday? It looks like it was a daily doji on ES. So the market just doesn't know, and it's probably confused between what it's seeing in the quotes real economy out of all the earnings versus the noises from the Fed. So it's not bad for us in terms of there's movement, but the correlation has been off for sure for the past week, and bit sort of both sweepy and sticky. So you've just got to be really careful. Take small pieces out of the moves and don't rely too much on any big ideas at the moment.
Yep, it's it's definitely momentum remains king. If there's momentum, be very, very careful what you're doing, and in general, err on the side of being with the momentum. And the other thing that I'm just seeing over and over again, I mentioned this Sunday at the reopen, is the ranges. Yeah, you just showed that with that single print. When we get to extremes of the recent ranges, it's really good trading. We have not left a range in a long time, and if we do, it'll be really obvious that it's happening. So,
and you can look at the super obvious slap you in the face structural levels and artifacts, and don't look for anything in between. You've got to be patient.
Yes, exactly. Between the two, earnings and Fed, what's more important? It's not like that, Pete. What it is earnings are saying that companies, at least in the S&P 500 so far, aren't doing that badly. But the Fed is saying, well, we need to keep raising interest rates to slow the economy down. So those are just two different headwinds. Strong earnings is a upside headwind, and the Fed saying, no, we have to, raise interest rates. We need to slow the economy down. That's pushing the other way. But it's not like one is more important than the other. They're opposing. Think of them as opposing winds, literally. Is it bad news is good? No, it's not that. We're from the
trying
risk
to assign too much reason or if this then that to this, Pete.
There's no logic. Exactly.
This does not define a rule set for what to do. It's just, here's the environment we're in, therefore be a bit cautious.
These are the conditions. That is exactly right. Which, by the way, real quickly, we had a very short hedge fund call because nobody really had anything to say. But we all agreed on the two things. And number one, there's Formula One this weekend again, which is huge. And number two, everybody, it's like the call started and everyone's like, what's going on? And it was silent. And then so somebody just said, I think we're all doing the same thing. And so we all kind of wrote it down and texted it at the same time. Everybody is waiting for the next event. I keep saying event-driven market. We need an event. That's what's going on here. Meanwhile, the market's trying to price in earnings and the statistical probabilities of the Fed, raising and how much more they're going to raise and all that. So watch out for talking heads. I don't think we have any today, but there are some throughout the week. That can always impact that, because the talking heads are usually Fed-related people. And so, the market's going to hang on their every word to try to game that.
Just having a quick look down the calendar, not seeing any, not through Thursday. No. What's going to be interesting through the overnights? There's a lot of EU stuff coming out towards the end of the month. So, I think we can expect decent moves overnight as the futures are following what's going on in Europe, and then possibly retracement of all that stuff as we get back into it in regular trading hours. Yeah. So if you're trading overnight, you've got to be aware of what's coming out in Europe as well.
Yeah, in fact, real quickly, I'm just throwing a link into the Zulip or the Zoom chat there. There's a bunch on here and you can just look for yourself, but this is a cool little image to look at because it has little flags and everything, but kind of get a sense of what markets. And there's all kinds of stuff in Europe, particularly toward the end of the week. You're absolutely right. Italy, France, Great Britain, there's all kinds of numbers there. There's some Canadian numbers. That's interesting. Some German numbers, Italy, yeah, everybody's doing something at the end of the week. So be careful. Japan. Oh, Japan late Thursday. That's interesting. That could be interesting in the overnight Thursday. Bank of Japan announcement is at 10 o'clock Eastern on Thursday night. There is a little bit of carry trade going on with Japan right now. So that's worth keeping an eye on.
That would be the Katsu carry trade, I think. Oh dear. Donnie has asked if we're on blackout. I'm not understanding that. I might be missing something here.
The Fed guy's not talking, and I think that's what he might be referring to.
Okay.
Is that what you're referring to? Yeah, no, I don't think we're on. We're nowhere near a meeting or anything, are we? Why would they be blacked out? I don't. Anyway, what else do we have? Let's see.
David, you're also overthinking this. It's just be aware of if you're trading overnight and there's big stuff happening in Europe, be aware of it because the equity futures will move. It's
exactly.
not market context. It's just there is news.
Yeah. Remember that the futures, the U.S. equity index futures are totally speculative at night because the equities aren't trading. So anything, earnings, economic numbers in Europe, anything that happens, political stuff, will get priced in by the speculators, but that doesn't mean it necessarily is going to be the value. So it's a speculative environment. End of the week, we start the blackout. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think it was this early. Okay, so yeah, the thing about economic news, you have to just, in this environment, you have to step back and let the price action kind of tell you what's going on. The market it's not in price discovery, but it's definitely exploring. And, again, we talked about this a little bit yesterday and in one of my Friday sessions last week. There is an apex forming here. If you look at the overall, the dailies, we're forming a big giant apex in this range. And, those tend to be unstable. They tend to break pretty aggressively. So, looking out a couple of months or weeks, it's not inconceivable that we will have a significant break to the upside or downside just because we've been in this range forever. And, generally, when ranges like this break, they do it fairly aggressively. When I say Apex, I'm not talking about Apex, the provider. Here, let me grab the screen real quickly. Let me just describe what this is so everybody knows what I'm talking about. Let me hear. Okay, and let me just minimize my jigsaw here, and I'll go to I know you guys love it when I draw because I'm such a good artist with my mouse, but here we go. It's really simple concept. Don't overthink it. Whenever the market is range bound and you can draw a line this way and this way on the highs of the top of the range and the lows, and it's kind of converging, that's an apex. And those are just remarkably unstable. It's a really common technical pattern. The tighter it winds up in here, the more it winds up in here over time, the sharper the break out of that will typically be. That's all. It's not a wedge. It's not a wedge. A wedge has to do with if you're uptrend or downtrend and, like flags. And it's not that. It's just a convergence. The highs and the lows are converging into a point. Not the same thing as a wedge. All right. Anyway, enough technical analysis nonsense. Let's see. While I have my screen up, is there anything else we need to or want to look at?
I guess we can quickly talk through the calendar. It's just a regular-ish week in TRG.
Oh yes. It's that's actually a really good point. I was going to do that as well. Yes, it's a regular-ish week. Today I have Scalper's Mindset. I believe I always get this one wrong. Are we at 8:30 or 9? It's 8:30, isn't it? My time, so it's 11:30.
Yes, 8:30 local.
Yeah. So, and then that's the last scheduled thing today. Tomorrow, are we fishing tripping?
Yep.
Tomorrow
we're tripping.
Okay. And then Wednesday, we're trading the open, and we have the dojo on Wednesday.
Yep.
Thursday, fishing tripping again. Friday, we have Dino, and we have trading the close. And don't forget, the Scalpathon starts Saturday. So there will be more and more stuff going on in the Scalpathon stream in the pit. If you're in the Scalpathon, if you haven't yet, you still have time. We start Saturday. Yes, everything's recorded. There will be lots of sessions. There's 17 of them, so I don't expect everyone to be at every one, particularly the ones in the middle of the night. But by all means, join us.
And as I suggested in the Scalpathon stream, wow, Scalpathon stream, say that 5 times fast. Jeez.
Yeah.
This is your last week to brush up on the online courses, which I recommend everybody do. I think everybody who's here currently has access to them anyway. Yes, looks like. So, and if by any chance anybody listening to the recording does not, it's not required by any means, but getting those courses and going through them at least once, freshly right before the Scalpathon is going to definitely be helpful to have that stuff recently present in your mind.
Yes.
All the fundamentals on, reading footprints and LRCs and all the just the basics, so that it's not unfamiliar and you're scratching your head going, wait, what is that again? I don't remember. Because the Scalpathon's going to be crazy. It's going to go fast. It's
going to go fast, and we're going to talk a lot about traded volume on the footprint or on the dome, like right here. And so understanding how price moves and bid versus ask, the stuff that's in the courses, is really important. Otherwise, you may get lost quickly.
Yep. So give it a quick brush up. Don't stress over getting it perfect on the quizzes or whatever. Just, go through it so that it's reasonably fresh in your mind and you'll remember certain terms and, vocabulary, stuff like that. So that is it.
One other quick comment about that. The Saturday session is theory and setups and my tools and all that. That's what we're doing Saturday. And obviously that's an easy one to catch up on the recording if you miss it. We will start our live events with the Sunday reopen the following day. And then, there's a whole bunch of stuff on the calendar. You can go see it yourself. But so, it's going to get off to a fast start. But don't worry if you can't be at the Saturday morning. You'll be able to catch that, by the next morning, certainly at the latest.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's a Saturday. I'll have nothing else really going on. I'll get that put up as soon as Vimeo and Zoom make it available. So it'll
that's a
few hours later.
I have been asked this about the Scalpathon over and over again. Yeah, JVC is going to get the videos up as fast as possible. I know, since there's sometimes 2 a day, it's going to be tricky. But we're at the mercy of Vimeo and, to getting those posted. So, and, Zoom has to process first. And so, we do it as fast as we get them. And, sometimes it's just a matter of hours. And worst case, it'll be, the next day. So.
It's generally a few hours later, or at least, and by end of day, almost always. There's only been probably, I can think of maybe 2 times in my entire TRG tenure it's ever been the next day. So,
don't forget, some of these sessions are going to be in the middle of the night, though.
That is true, and I'm going to try to be on every single one of them if I at all can.
Are you?
So
wow. Okay,
I may be a little punchy for a couple of weeks. We'll see.
I was going to encourage you to, but not, do the best you can. I realize.
No, I'm going to try. I'm going to definitely try to be there. It's always fun to do something a little different and shake things up. So cool.
I find when I do this, and I do it sometimes on my own, obviously, but when I'm teaching, one of the things I noticed in the last Scalpathon is that there's something to be said for having a 24-hour eye on the market. You develop a sense of the rhythm, even if you're not trading it, and even if you only trade it during regular trading hours. Going through at different times of the night, like you said, it can help your perspective a lot, even if you never actually, do business then. So
makes sense.
You just get a sense of how the market works, and the market is a weird animal. You have to get in tune with it. So, all right. What else do we have? I think that's it. Let's see. We did.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, we did the calendar. Lee, anything we're missing?
Nothing else from me.
Okay, cool. Well, this ought to be a fun week with all these sales going on and all this activity and Scalpathon coming. So join us. Will we get a Lee cameo? That's a good question. He's certainly invited. If he has time, I hope we will. Lee can join us.
I will certainly dip in and out, but I will allow the sensei to deliver his piece.
Cool. Good enough. All right. And again, if you guys are, warming up for that or you're signed up for it, the one thing you definitely want to do if you don't do the online courses is the 3 risk management course sessions in the library. Those are posted in the Scalpathon stream. Those you definitely want to watch, or you will have no idea what I'm talking about with 1+1s and swarming giant and swarming small. And those are risk management strategies. And again, they're not complicated, but it will help if you've had a little bit of exposure to them before we start.
All right, gang. We'll see you at Scalper's Mindset. Have a great morning.
Cool.
Bye for now.